Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Friday. The weekend is very nearly here. I hope you're having a good one, whether you're watching or listening to this around the world. As always, thank you very much for joining me here on the channel. We've got plenty to discuss today. Mikel Arteta has finished his press conference a little bit earlier on today. Before I pop on here, go over some of the big talking points. We'll look at the latest Arsenal team news. He's giving updates on Saliba, Trossard, Rice. He's talking about Gabriel Jesus as well and his future as he returns to the team. There's talk, will Arsenal look to cash in on him, given he's got 18 months on his contract? Mikel very much saying no, that is not the case in the press conference today. He's also been talking about the Wolves game, of course, and the importance of that on the back of the Champions League win in midweek, prior to the defeat at Aston Villa last time out in the Premier League. We'll talk about a big new sponsorship deal. Arsenal have agreed to bring in more millions of pounds to the club, and it's going to be the new shirt sponsor as well. By all accounts, got lots of questions and comments from you guys to get stuck into. And just to flag up for Inside Arsenal Patreon members, the Arsenal Press Pass show with myself, Sam Dean, and hopefully Simon Collins today as he tries to get back in time to do the recording. That will be coming very, very soon today as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want to get access to that show and you haven't become an Inside Arsenal Patreon member yet and you want to get access to that show and others and the Discord and everything like that, giveaways that we do on the channel, then get down. You can sign up to become a Patreon member. The link is down below in the video description. Just copy and paste that into your browser. Go direct to patreon.com, become a member and help support the channel. Thank you very much to all of you who have so far. And if you don't, that's fine. But yes, thank you to everyone who has. Okay, let's start with the roundup from the press conference today. And we'll start on William Saliba, shall we? Who we haven't seen for a fair while now. It's been a matter of days for a while. Those days have turned into weeks so far for Saliba. So will we see him tomorrow? That was the first question asked to Mikel Arteta. He said, we have to wait and see. Yesterday, we didn't train. He hasn't trained with us yet. We have an extra day. Let's see if he can be available. Not. It was then asked, you said a matter of days for a while now. So what's going on? He says, that remains the same. If you ask me about the Everton game, which of course is next Saturday, Mikel says, I think he will be fit. Tomorrow, I don't know. Simon, who, as I said, is rushing back to try and make sure he can be part of the recording for the press pass show, then asked Mikel a bit later on in the press conference, what is it? What is going on with Saliba that has been keeping him out so far? He said, it was something quite small. It came from an ankle injury that he had, and then it started to modify the way he was running and all that, and he started to overload an area, which is something common, but at the same point it was uncomfortable continuing to be able to train and to play, and so we had to stop it. It looks better, but we have to wait and see if it's enough for him to be able to train with the team, which I thought was quite interesting. So it all stems from the ankle injury. Whether that's a new ankle injury or if it is the one that he did at the start of the season in the warm-up against Liverpool that forced him out for a couple of weeks, whether it all sort of dates back to that ankle injury, and whatever this kind of problem is that he's suffering with at the moment sort of is a result of modifying the way he runs because of the pain that he was suffering from that ankle injury. I think it's quite interesting anyway, but fingers crossed we're not going to be too long without him. If there's any doubt, again, any doubt whatsoever over William Saliba, then you don't play him in this game. And, Arsenal got so many matches coming up, so many important matches over the festive period. Just make sure he's ready when you do bring him back. You've got a week off after the Wolves game before the Everton match. And as Mikel says, he thinks he'll definitely be fit for the Everton game. So no risk when it comes to William Saliba. Anyway, so that's what he's had to say on Willow. On Declan Rice, who of course missed the game in midweek in the Champions League, didn't even travel with the squad because he was ill. Mikel said, let's see how it is today. It's an illness. Normally in a few days it gets resolved. We have to wait and see how far he can push. So sounds like Rice will be back training with the squad today, and they'll see what sort of shape he's in after this little illness that he's had. Fingers crossed it will be okay. But for anyone who has had this sort of winter illness, winter flu that is spreading its way around the UK at the moment, it does take it out of you. It certainly took it out of me. I mean, I'm not a physical machine. Certainly not a physical machine like Declan Rice is. So I suggest he can probably recover pretty quickly from me, pretty quickly compared to me. But it certainly knocked me out for a good week or so. But we'll see if he's fit enough for this one. Again, don't want to be taking any risks when it comes to Declan Rice. Admittedly, this one's not an injury, but still. So that's what he's had to say on Declan Rice. On Leandro Trossard, Mikel said again, it's another one that is just a matter of days. It sounds boring, but it's the reality. We just don't know yet. So it sounds like it'll be a late call on Leandro. Trossard, of course, returned after injury for the game against Aston Villa, picked up something, a sort of recurrence of that problem in the half an hour that he played against Villa, so didn't travel with the squad in midweek for the Champions League game. I mean, when you look at the options Arsenal have got at the moment over on that left-hand side, it's, again, not one that you want to rush Trossard back from. Yes, he's been massively important this season. He's been stepping up several times for Arsenal in big moments, scoring goals, contributing assists. So you want him back in and around the squad as quickly as possible. But when you've got Eze, you've got Martinelli, who showed his quality in midweek, you just don't need to be taking any sort of risks when it comes to Leandro Trossard. So late decision on him. On Timber, it's the same sort of thing. Timber, of course, did travel with the squad for the Champions League game, didn't feature, wasn't included in the matchday squad despite going out there and flying over there. Mikel said it was a knock. It depends how he feels today. He picked it up and he wasn't feeling comfortable. Again, just a matter of days. Whether it's tomorrow or not, I don't know. So we'll see on Timber, and kind of repeating myself on all of these players, but as much as we want to see him back in the team, you just don't want to take any sort of risk. The thing with Timber, unlike Trossard, is there's not really any other options. I mean, we saw Christian Norgard, and Mikel spoke about Norgard in the press conference today, you know, very, very warmly, just as he did immediately after the game in midweek. And you would imagine if Timber doesn't make it and if Saliba's not fit, then it's going to have to be Norgard again today. But that, I mean, as good as, you know, I thought he was impressive the way he slotted into the team in midweek, but it's not something you want to be seeing on a regular occurrence at all, especially in a Premier League game, albeit against a Wolves side who have, you know, dreadful results so far this season. They are still a Premier League team. They can still cause teams problems, and you don't really want Christian Norgard at the heart of your defence. So it's a little bit different to the Trossard situation where there's plenty of cover there. With Timber and Saliba out, it's not quite so the case, but you can't imagine Timber's anything remotely bad, considering he trained the day before the Bruges game. He travelled all the way over there. It was just a very late decision on the morning of the game that he wasn't going to be involved. So basically, that's the latest Arsenal team news in terms of the injury issues that we've got from Mikel in his press conference today. He spoke about Gabriel Jesus in the press conference, who made his return after 333 days out in the game against Bruges and looked very, very lively. It was a lovely little cameo from Gabriel Jesus. Probably should have scored, unlucky not to score, hit the bar with one, had one saved, just linked up really well, looked lively, looked sharp, which was really, really positive. But there has always been talk, isn't it? Always going to get back fit to be sold in January. We know that Palmeiras want to bring him back. Gabriel Jesus himself has said, no, that's not happening. I'm not leaving in January. We'll see what happens in the future. But for January, I'm certainly staying at Arsenal. Mikel was asked about that, whether, you know, they would consider selling him, given he's got 18 months left on his contract. And he absolutely ruled out the sort of possibility of that. He said, sorry, I'm just getting confused by a message from Simon, who says, I'm going to be there for midday for the Arsenal Press Pass show on WhatsApp. So we'll see if he makes it or not. So Mikel, when he said Arteta, would he consider selling Jesus in January? He said, I don't consider that, especially with the situation we have right now. I think Gabby has a lot to offer to the team, and he has proven that straight away in the first minutes when he was available to play. He put so much to be in this position. Now the focus is to be with us. And to me, as regular viewers of this channel will know, that is music to my ears, because I do not want even to consider the prospect of selling Gabriel Jesus in January. It would make no sense to me whatsoever. This is a player who can make a big difference from Arsenal. Not saying he'd be starting every single game, but he's just someone, you know, when he's good, when he's on it, he is very, very good, and he can help make teams better. We saw that against Bruges. I think he's got loads to offer in the second half of this season. He's got so much experience. He's a proven Premier League winner. There's no other Premier League winners in the squad at the moment, and that could be a big thing in the really sort of key months. We get to March, April, May, but also just what he can do on the pitch. I think he's got plenty to offer on the pitch. And even if it's one game, 2 games, that he comes off the bench and he makes a difference and scores a goal or sets up a winner, something like that, then it's worth it for me. So I don't even want to consider the prospect of selling him. So I'm very happy to hear what Mikel had to say on that. In terms of Jesus himself, he's been speaking, and in the press pass show later on today, we're speaking to Sandine, who interviewed Gabriel Jesus after the game in Bruges in midweek. And he was sort of talking bits and pieces about coming back, how difficult he's been. And he was asked as part of that interview, one of the bits was, you know, do you believe that you now at 28, you know, you're not old at all, do you believe you can come back from an injury like this and be the difference for Arsenal, really make a difference still? And he said, the clubs I've played for, I had a good role and I've always helped in a good way. Obviously, when you're not playing, it's more difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 28. It sounds young, but Max is 15, Ethan 18, Miles 19. More than experience, I can bring some difference to the players that we have. In my career, I've had amazing moments. I've won amazing titles. I've been in amazing positions with the clubs before, even with Arsenal. Unfortunately, we did not win anything. But just to come to Arsenal, help, like everyone else, to make Arsenal fight for the title again, it's going to make me happy. So Jesus believes he can still make a difference for Arsenal. And I absolutely believes he does. So yeah, interesting stuff I thought from Arteta on Jesus in the press conference. He did also talk obviously about Wolves. He talked quite a bit about Victor Gyökeres, which we're going to discuss in the press pass show. At the moment, Gyökeres is generating a lot of debate. He spoke about it in the press conference, said, look, at the moment he's working his way back to fitness. He was showing the signs before the injury that he was getting sort of really adjusting to everything that we want from him, and we were beginning to adjust more to what he needs from us, and he was showing that before the injury. He'll get back there. Said that he needs goals just to help with the confidence and stuff, because he's so used in his career to scoring goals. Once he gets those with Arsenal, he thinks, that he's going to make a big impact in the second half of the season. So he spoke about that. He talked about Wolves and sort of complacency and all sort of things like that. And he said, look, any defeat that you want to respond to straight away. We did that in midweek. Now it's about Wolves focusing back on the Premier League after the result against Villa. It's a massive opportunity for us to win the game and put ourselves in a great position. From our side, we are going to go full gas from the beginning because we know what we need to do. You probably have to get 90 points to win the title. Tomorrow we have 3 points that we have to earn. So that's what Mikel had to say about the Wolves game. Obviously, I'll do the preview show tomorrow morning when I'll be doing my predicted 11, all that sort of stuff. If you want to get involved in that show tomorrow, give me your 11s, the 11s you want to see, what you think Mikel should do, some of the team selections he's facing. Let me know your thoughts on that. And as always, I'll pull them together and get them included in tomorrow's preview show. Okay, let's talk about this new deal that Arsenal have secured now with Deel. It's a big sort of all-in-one HR platform, payroll sort of thing, global company. So they have now secured a big new sponsorship deal with Arsenal. Arsenal announced that this morning. Now, as part of it, Arsenal just said, we've agreed a multi-year partnership with Deel, the leading global payroll and HR platform, to become our official HR platform partner. So there's no talk about it also being the new shirt sleeve sponsor from next season after the Visit Rwanda deal expires, which you can understand they haven't announced that yet because the Visit Rwanda deal is still going on. But it is believed that it is part hand of Arsenal. Over on Twitter, dropped a big exclusive on it this morning, saying it's a big sort of multi-million-pound deal and that Chelsea were in talks to get a sponsorship deal with Deel, and Arsenal coming in swoops and sort of taking that deal over from Chelsea, which is always nice to get one over on. Then Darren Dean, the agent of former Arsenal vice president, of course, David Dean, helped broker that deal, according to hand of Arsenal. And they will be the new shirt sponsors from the shirt sleeve sponsors from next season. So this is obviously a good deal for Arsenal. More money coming into the club, which is a good thing. Arsenal understandably happy. Julie Slot, was quoted in the press release from Arsenal about the deal, which she's obviously the chief commercial officer, says, we're delighted to welcome Deel to the Arsenal family, a brilliant and innovative team who will bring so much to what we're trying to achieve at the club. Their global platform matches the scale of our ambitions and operations, and their investment will continue to power our growth. We're looking forward to many successful seasons together. So that's what she had to say about Arsenal's new multi-year partnership with Deel. Right, moving on to some of your questions and comments before we wrap this one up for today. Dennis has got in touch and said, not to get ahead of myself, but I would start Jesus against Wolves and give him the first half. Reason being, he looked really sharp and did improve our fluidity. He also brings out the better in Martinelli's movement, so those two could hopefully run riot in the first half together. Second reason being, bringing on Gyökeres should be able to hammer the Wolves defence in the second half and hopefully grab a goal or two. It also means both players are getting minutes and helping them back to their best. Thoughts? No, for me, I'd be starting Gyökeres in this game. Absolutely. I think he needs 60 minutes or so. I think Jesus could probably do it because he looked sharp when he came on, but you've got to ease Jesus in. I'm not sure you throw him straight back into a starting 11 for this game. It's very, very important that they really sort of manage his minutes at the moment, because the last thing you want is any sort of setback for Gabriel Jesus. And I just think it's important for Victor Gyökeres. I said it yesterday in the show, that I feel like he's a player who's going to probably take a little bit more time than some other players might to really get up to match sharpness after being out for a while. And I think you need to get that back into him. So for me, I'd absolutely be playing Victor from the start in this game tomorrow. Dennis also says, I really hope Timber, Saliba and Rice also come back in. I would look to rest Zubi or give him no longer than 45 minutes too. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does do with Zubimendi. He has some nice warm words for Zubimendi in the press conference today. Royal Stad says, on Gyökeres, all humans have times and seasons, ebbs and flows, highs and lows, not to mention the challenge and time it takes relationship building in a large group like our club. I'm not worried about him coming good at all. He has proven his quality in the past. What I'm very happy about is how all of our players are rising to the competition for minutes in all positions. We have a very vibrant, healthy environment, and we are excelling. We are winning with injury problems that would have set us back in recent seasons. It's very exciting. I thought that was a very nice comment. And yes, I think it is all about ebbs and flows in football. And I think Gyökeres is probably in a bit of a tough spot at the moment, because people are beginning to look at him more and more and scrutinize his performances and his goal records and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think it's going to take much. I really don't think it's going to take much for him to score some goals. Do I think he'll absolutely be a guaranteed starter between now and the end of the season? No, but I don't think he should be. I don't think he needs to be. I don't think any of the four. I don't think Havertz should be when he's fit. I don't think Jesus should be when he's fit. I think you've got to pick and choose your strikers for the right opponents and everything like that. And I just want to be in a position, because Gyökeres ran himself into the ground for Arsenal in the first half of the season, where he had no pre-season, then everyone got injured, and he had to play all the time. He ran himself into the ground for Arsenal. Was that beneficial for him? Absolutely not. And I think that has to be taken into account. And it got to the point where he worked so hard, ran himself into the ground so much that he picked up an injury that set him back just at the time when he was really beginning to look the sharpest he'd looked in an Arsenal shirt as well. So I think we need, when all the criticism that's coming for Gyökeres at the moment, I think that does need to be taken into account as well, what he sort of put himself through for the team, for the cause during the first half of the season. Boris says, I think Arteta will go with Rice, Eza, Odegaard against Wolves. He tried it once against weaker opposition, but O got injured very early, so Arteta could not evaluate the success of this midfield trio. Yeah, I haven't really. Obviously, I'll do my predicted 11 in the show tomorrow. I haven't really sort of sat down and really worked out exactly what I think Mikel will do. But I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if he did this. We saw it. Was it the Forest game when he did it when Odegaard got the injury and so he had to come off early and Zubimendi came on? I think it was Forest, wasn't it? And then Zubimendi scored that volley. I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but he did play it on one of those games. He started with Rice. He sort of rested Zubimendi, played Rice, and then he had Eza and Odegaard ahead of them, which was a really interesting thing to do and caught us all by surprise when we saw the starting 11 that day. And I do think it's something he will do more and he will use more. And this was certainly a game where he could do that. The fact that Zubimendi played the whole game in midweek, when I'm pretty sure he'd have been earmarked for a rest in that game. But because of what happened to Timber and Norgard having to drop into the defence, it meant that Zubimendi had to play and he ended up playing the whole game. I do wonder if Rice is fit and has got over this illness, if Zubimendi will start on the bench against Wolves, and we will see this Eza, Odegaard, or we might even see Odegaard and Marino in midfield rather than Eza and Odegaard. It might be Odegaard, Marino, similar to what we saw in midweek in the Champions League as well, and Victor Gyökeres playing up front. So we'll see. But yeah, it's a good shout, Boris. I wouldn't be at all surprised if you're proved correct there. This is just a few responses for what I was talking about yesterday when I said I think, the goal in midweek against Bruges was Martinelli's best ever Arsenal goal. And lots of you have responded to that. It's just a few of them here. Grid Pipe says, I really like the goal he scored against Man City this season, to be honest. A lot of skill to hit it over the keeper under that amount of pressure. Yeah, absolutely. And then a couple Solar's Productions, King Gladstino, I think that is. So both talking about the Chelsea goal at Stamford Bridge when he ran the length of the pitch from the corner and N'Golo Kante slips over, didn't he? Which was obviously a brilliant one. I do remember him scoring a beauty against Watford once on the edge of the box when I remember Saka scoring early in that game as well. And then he got, I think it was Lacazette laid it off to him. Someone mentioned it in the comments. I couldn't find it earlier. But Lacazette laid it off to him and he hit a first time shot into the corner. It was a lovely goal as well. So, right, that is it from me today. Well, I say today, it's not it from me today because I will be back for Patreon members, of course, for the Arsenal Press Pass show. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And again, if you want to sign up, become a member, support the channel, get exclusive extra content, access to the Discord, all that sort of stuff, then please do come over and join the growing community at Patreon. That would be fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.